Black Box Productions.
My mama. Y'all seen your boy Clifford Harris on the Mike Tyson podcast? Man, I was gonna upload the shout out to Scotland in the building. I was gonna upload the video, but I'm like, the video circulating so much. It's, if you haven't seen it, it's easy to see it. No need of risking. Usually when you upload heavily used content, it could end up counting against you down the line. YouTube don't like that. But anyway, to set the scenario, I had to react because your boy T.I. also missed an opportunity of redemption, of actually becoming more of what he is attempting to present himself to be, and which is a transparent, forthcoming, honest brother. He had a real teachable moment. Once he was squozen or forced or whatever word you would use to participate in the weed tip commercial, when he finally had enough pressure placed upon him that caused him to decide to participate on the behalf of the prosecution in a murder trial where the suspect was found guilty and given a very lengthy sentence, due in part to the fact that Clifford Harris sat on the stand once again on behalf of the prosecution in the state of Ohio, I believe it was, and he gave an account of an event that took place that evening where he was involved in a physical altercation inside of a venue. He traveled some distance down the road, leaving the venue, and 2 different episodes of shooting occurred to where his best friend, Phil, rest in peace, lost his life in the process. And everything from the incidents that take place in the club, which sparked the commotion, all the way down to his friend being shot, his entourage being sprayed with bullets a second time, even mentioning that someone that was accompanying him returned fire. Later to claim he returned fire himself in an interview. He said conflicting things. He said so many things. He described everything that took place that evening, which caused the suspects who were already on trial for these actions, for everything that the state was attempting to prove they did. He corroborated it all. And I found it so ironic that he was also asked about some female associates that were with him at the time of this event, that were people he should not have been around when it comes to the laws of marriage or the commitment you made to your code to your wife. He professed to be such a subscriber to the G code. And when it came to being threatened with being exposed for violating the marital code, this Clifford Harris had the nerve to plead the fifth. Now, he gave all these reasons why he had to go to court and participate. He said his homeboy mama wanted him to. He said that they were threatening to take millions of dollars from him had he not shown up. So these were the elements that propelled him to eventually participate in this court trial. But nothing I see forced him to answer any questions whatsoever, because when it came to the question that actually bothered him to answer, which was not about the felonies committed, it was about, did you have some females with you that you wasn't married to? He didn't want his wife to know that whatever his company was. And when they asked him about the females, he said, I plead the fifth. Now that's just a slap in the face of anything that you consider G code, any street type of anything. And because he was bold enough to slap all that in the face, that was his moment to say, look, y'all, you see what this can do to you? The G code ain't nothing. I don't live by that. I had to weigh it out and throw the G code away. Instead, he tried to represent himself as still a representative of the G code with the actions that he made, with the steps that he chose to take. And then I come across social media, and he's steady trying to be a person in the forefront when it comes to issues of character. And it's like, dude, we see you on the podcast, and I don't assume that Mike Tyson was calling him a snitch. You know, if your name was Rick, Mike Tyson would have been, it's the Rickster. It's the Rickster. We ain't here with the Rickster. But a guilty soul, a guilty spirit. The way the camera caught him when he was like, we got the tipster in the building. Oh, my mama. It's like Clifford didn't realize what was going on. He didn't know what was coming next, and his face just told on him because he know he's a weed tipper. It's just crazy, just like Buck Jenner. Had you took this opportunity of weakness and failure to live up to what you expressed that you live up to be truly honest and show and speak about how in your sight it's not worth it. And when it came time to decide, was you going to stick to the G code or go to what you consider the man code, the civilian code, the family code, the do what really matters code, to leave that BS code alone? When you chose that code, you should have spoke on it, stayed with it, and then perhaps you could attempt to receive some deserving redemption. But you trying to pull the wool over everybody's eyes, sitting up on the stand on the behalf of the prosecution, causing an individual contributing to his guilty verdict to be stretched out for incidents that took place between he and you, and you refused to participate with the prosecution for quite some time until you got caught up in that federal case and they used that to barter against. And then you came with your testimony. And that's why don't nobody have to say it. Somebody like Mike Tyson, who was trying to be cordial to you and welcome you to his place and give you a nickname as a term of endearment. He was saying that fondly, the tipster. And it caused you to feel guilty because of things you've done. On my mama. Appreciate that, Meg. I see that 5. But that's crazy, bro. You was on the prosecution squad, and then you try to represent it as if you wasn't. And you only taint the image and the impact of those on the positive side that I see you stand with, like the Killer Mikes and the other people, the David Banners, anyone that has the message that's kind of reminiscent of yours, and the ones that stand up with the character post street thug hip hop reminiscent of you. You really take away from what they're doing with your tainted past and the way you attempt to go beyond it without accepting it and claiming it. You wiped it clean from the internet. And we know you so far behind the government and all them. We know how information can be controlled because you wiped almost hour testimony away from the internet where you told everything. But that's funny. If y'all haven't seen the video of him on the, I believe it's the Hot Boxing with Mike Tyson podcast. And he was doing the introduction, Mike Tyson, happy as can be. I don't believe he was trying to be slick tongue or nothing, but he called him finally the tipster. And it looked like T.I. was wondering, was he up? Was it a setup? What was coming next? He thought some crazy questions were coming, which didn't seem to follow. But it's a pretty laughable moment. And I just find it ironic that with him trying to be such a positive figure, he's so ashamed of himself, of his actions, that he does not have the courage, like Buck Jenner, to say, yes, I did that. I know I came out to the public and represent myself, Rubber Band Man, Trap God, and all this about the Trap Museum. I know I said that I pledged to the G Code, but youngsters, let me tell y'all something. I have a lot of things that people work hard to acquire that I don't want to let go. And when it came down to it being pressed, was I going to stay solid to this G code, or was I going to secure these things that I've obtained that matter to my family? Guess what, youngsters? I realized the G code wasn't worth it, and I went with this positive family thing, and this is what I advise you to do. Don't wait till you get put in a position like me where you have to. If he would have said that, then you're okay. But you are continuing to be a fraud, to rat, and then try to wipe your history clean. That's the same thing they do to us as black people in America. Make us think our history started as slavery somewhere in America or shortly from when they took us from Africa. Not making us aware of all the majestic, mighty, beautiful things that our people have been responsible for doing being kings and queens and rulers. Far beyond that, they just wiped the history the same way Clifford just wiped his history. He's learning tactics of his masters and utilizing it upon his own. But because of the fact that he has still stayed relevant in the eye of the media and in our culture, entertainment-wise, due to television and ventures and his relationships with other celebrities, the generation that is current has no idea of the fact that he sold his soul to stay out of prison when his homie got smoked. It's crazy because he eliminated that part of history, that portion of history. Oh, my mama.
Mike, we got the man in here today, brother.
What's happening?
We got Tip.
The TIPSTER.
Rolling right out of Expeditious.
Hey, what's happening, y'all? Some people call me Tip, but this is about another kind of tip that can help our mothers, our sisters, our brothers, and our fathers help get the perpetrators who commit crimes against them off the streets. All you got to do is call Crime Stoppers Atlanta. Tips can be anonymous, and there's even a reward. The number to Crime Stoppers Atlanta is 404-577-8477. That's 404-577-TIPS. Channel 2, community coverage. You can.
On my mama. This is what I want to say. T.I. let 6ix9ine Takuchi take his spot. 6ix9ine Takuchi's taking Buck Jenner and T.I.'s spot because not only is he comfortable adorning himself in the rainbow and speaking positively toward the Metro he-she movement, he was confident to sit up, get on the stand, testify, sit back, claim it, and then come back and say, this is what I did. So just like, and look how he's still being celebrated, accepted. They can't take his shine away. He's probably going to be a bigger personality star than he ever was before. And T.I., you allow Takuchi to display more courage than you. Quite cowardly, sir. You should be
Snitchwood Net Hustle. Big shout out to my nigga SPI, Spotter Low. You know I'm in the black box, had to come through, tap in, show love one time. Yeah, y'all make sure y'all subscribe. Stay tuned. All that.